guys, welcome along to the BBQ Talks Show. This week as you can see, Ryan's away, and I've got a special guest host with me today, Cider. Hi, Cider. How you doing, mate? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm getting loads of feedback at the moment. I don't know why.
Oh no, that's not good. I hope it's not from me. Is it just echoing, or what have you got?
I have no idea why we're getting loads of feedback. Hang on. No, that's it, I think. No, I can hear myself coming back and everything now. What's going on?
You're not got it open in any other windows, have you?
No.
YouTube, Facebook, nothing open?
No, nothing else open.
Is it gone now? Still there?
Nope.
Oh dear. This is not good.
That's really weird.
Let's make sure I haven't got any windows that could possibly be feeding back to you. No. Nothing there. Okay, the guys in the chat say that they can't hear it. Do you want to just try jumping out and then jump back in again, Cider?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, hang on.
Yeah, okay, mate. Well, so it's going well so far, as everybody can see. How is everybody? Everybody okay? Hopefully everyone's had a good week this week. I've had a good one, albeit being in a bit of pain with back issues. A bit like last week, but a little bit worse. So, but we're getting there. On a load of different medication now, so hopefully it'll be all right. Hi, Deb. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Lep. Pickles. Got a few in the chat. So if you want to answer questions or ask questions today, if you use the hashtag questions in the chat for me, I'll try and keep up with the chat so that people can see it, or at least we can ask Imran the questions that you guys want to ask him. And then later on, we'll open up the pub club, let some people in, ask some questions, and we'll go from there. Hopefully, we'll get our co-host back shortly, as he's just trying to rectify his issues. And there he comes. Let's try again. How's that? Can you hear me okay?
I think that's better.
Excellent. That's good news then.
All right.
So how are you, mate? You had a good week?
I'm glad I'm home.
Yeah, you've had a busy week, haven't you?
Been a long day. Yeah, been a long few days. Yeah. After 12 weeks off and then back because of the old COVID problems. Not that I've had it. But
no, it's affecting everybody, isn't it?
Oh,
not good.
Definitely.
Not good. Yeah. So let's get our guest in. So our guest this week is Imran, aka BabaQ Khan. He's here to chat all things Q, about his YouTube channel and about some of his social media platforms that he uses. So let's get him in. Hi Imran, how you doing?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
That's okay, no worries. It's a pleasure to have you on, mate. I'm excited actually. I mean, your sort of your videos that you put out there are really good. Hopefully the guys that are watching have seen. If not, we can do a shameless plug if you wish. What's your handles on the social media platforms and your YouTube channel?
Well, in terms of numbers, we're
just so people can come find you.
It's BabaQ Khan on hashtag on Instagram, BabaQ Khan on Facebook, and obviously on YouTube. BabaQ Khan with different meats I'm making. But the main handle is just hashtag BabaQ Khan.
Fair enough. Okay, so if you if any of the mods in the channel want to put up Imran's link for me, that'd be really handy. So Imran, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How long have you been cooking over flames?
Right, so live in West London. Been here all my life. In terms of cooking over flames, my my probably first memory of cooking over flames is about 25 years ago. Did a barbecue after my first daughter was born, and the first comment I got from my dad was, "You burnt it."
Look, we've all got, I think, in the past.
Yeah. And that basically motivated me to get better at it. So I kept trying, and finally, I have a reputation where people enjoy coming to my house for barbecues, but no one invites me.
No, it's always the way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody wants you, them, and I guess we put ourselves on this mantle.
That's right.
Yeah, the untouchables.
So, did anybody teach you what you're doing, or did you, or is it just something you've done yourself, or?
No, they just told me what I was doing wrong.
Just what you're
yeah, I just got a lot of criticism. So I could only improve from there. But luckily, I had my dad was always quite keen on barbecues. We did a lot of outdoor picnics and events and what have you. And funnily enough, one of my uncles used to run a sort of doner kebab spot in a market in Edinburgh, and he was known as a kebab king. That was his name.
No.
And he was quite an inspiration. But in terms of technique, and it was just trial and error, and also visiting a lot of Mediterranean countries and sort of Pakistan, India. There, what happens on most evenings is the streets are full of barbecue smell. So like there's fast food restaurants in probably nearly every locality, and the air is just full every night. And you're just walking past and you're watching people doing their different meats, and you watch them. There's a chain in Pakistan called BabaQ Tonight, and that's where I really sort of got to understand exactly how to cook different sorts of meat. You can't, there's no one solution to all sorts of meat.
No.
And I've also realized that different marinades don't all apply to your different cuts. And also, it also sort of encouraged me not to use too much marinade, because what I try and do is to preserve as much of the original meat taste as I can, which is what I enjoy. Thankfully, that's what my sort of wife and kids enjoy, and people have now taken to it as well. Because in the past, unfortunately, in the Asian community especially, tend to dice everything with just the same either tandoori paste or loads of papaya to tenderize the meat, loads of garlic and ginger, and they just absolutely paste it. And what I found in the Arab culture is it's slightly different. They tend to use less, and there you preserve the original taste of the meat. So like, for example, with a spring lamb, you're looking for is the milky taste. Which suppose mutton, you've got more of this. I wouldn't say there is a slight bitterness to mutton. And then with beef, you're going for the whole char grilled effect. So, but you have to be able to differentiate. It's when you've got the same marinade for the same for all different sorts of meat, then you might as well put in a potato, mate.
Yeah.
And chuck it in the oven.
So you're making all your own marinades. You're not buying anybody else's and then making them, if you know what I mean. Because there's so many. Obviously, there's so many different companies out there selling marinades or barbecue rubs.
Yeah. I don't think I'll be getting any product placements. But the one I do use is the blackened Cajun seasoning, or the fajita seasoning. That's the only one.
Yeah.
You can buy we have in the past considered, but it's just then you just lose control and you lose the flavor. It gets diced with all the different preservatives and liquids in there. and then also can actually contradict your own marinade. So I tend to sort of, like I said, keep as originally to the meat as possible.
All right.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, it's always sometimes it's better to make your own, and you know what you like, and
keep it light. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there is a lot of people out there.
And you can add, and like, you know, sort of, you can add sauces later as a dip.
Yeah.
And to maybe enhance the taste or to sort of tailor make what your palate requires. But in terms of, you know, what you want to do is the end product should be you should be able to manipulate it later, not right from the beginning. Then you've got no choice.
That's right. But you tend to use a lot of that. Obviously, your videos I've been looking at a lot of lamb. So is that a thing with the culture? And
well, yeah, I mean, purely we're restricted as in terms of what's available. So we tend to stick to either lamb, chicken, or beef, or fish. Obviously, you know, we don't do pork.
Yeah.
But I would like to attempt rabbit, duck in the future once I sort of build up the courage and get some more confidence.
Yeah, no. I mean, you definitely come in leaps and bounds with the YouTube channel. I mean, that leads us nicely onto that. I mean, how long have you been doing your YouTube channel? I know it's sort of reasonably fresh faced, isn't it? But it's coming on leaps and bounds.
Our first video, I think, was first week of May this year.
Okay, so it's like a
brilliant
COVID startup then.
Yeah.
Yes, it was basically a lockdown boil over.
Brilliant.
Boil over meaning my missus boiled me over out into the garden.
Yeah, I think actually because it's so different to what everybody else is doing, you're obviously more people are watching, so it's great, absolutely great.
Definitely. I mean, that's why I said to you earlier when we were having a chat offline that because of what you do and you know the stuff that you're cooking and you know your attire, it just draws you to it straight away because it's different. And you're used to seeing hundreds of people doing the same sort of thing, just with their own little twist on it. But you've got a really unique twist.
Exactly that, yeah.
All of it,
exactly.
and you know, I really enjoy watching your videos.
I like the hat as well.
There's a reason for the hat. It might be the same as yours, actually.
No, ain't like mine. Yeah, I said to Matt, I said, where did he get that hat? I want one. I got to get one of those hats. I ain't got one like that.
So, like, like with Matt said in terms of the attire, what the sort of my target audience was basically, you know, the alpha male sitting at home during lockdown. I think we were all getting to a stage where, you know, restaurants were closed, you know, not even McDonald's was closed. So fast food was no longer an option. And, you know, I just wanted people to get out and come into the garden, get some fresh air and start to enjoy the elements of outdoor cooking. Because first of all, it's time consuming, so a lot of your time can be used up. It's refreshing to be outdoors. It gets the whole family involved, and the end result, you enjoy some fresh meat.
Fantastic.
Rather than struggling in supermarket queues and buying processed meat, and potentially, I personally find that the barbecue or tandoor, this sort of cooking is probably more healthier than picking up processed meat and chucking it in the oven or frying it home. And there's many benefits, you know, apart from just having fun. You know, there's a health benefit to it, there's a social benefit to it, and also you realize how much money you can save by just doing it yourself.
I don't know. I seem to spend more money on my barbecue stuff than I do if I just go out and buy some food. But I think that's probably the selection of meats I'm picking.
Yeah. But it's just like going out to a restaurant or a barbecue joint. You know, you're going to end up. It's not just going to be the meat you're going to buy. You're going to end up with the others. add-ons as well.
Yeah,
and I think it was
exactly.
Yeah, so it was just in our community, especially when we try and do barbecues or we organise barbecues. You've got to give the missus and about a month's notice or an application a month before, because the whole marinade and all this starts. Because I find that my biggest critics or my biggest fear used to be from the women in our family or our social circle, where they were very quick to criticize and go, "Oh, that's raw, that's overdone." Whereas men in general just say, "You know what, that was all right."
Yeah.
Right? And they'll just sort of stimulate the appendix and get to digest it.
Sounds like my mother-in-law.
So the whole point was, was for especially my mates. It was really a nudge to them, saying, "Come on, guys, man up, and you can do this yourself." And funnily enough, they have.
That's good to hear that.
I've not had the invites yet. I've had the video clips and WhatsApp messages saying thanks for all your advice, but where's the food, mate?
Always the way, isn't it? Always the way. So I've got a couple of questions from in the chat. What sort of different spices have you adapted? And hold on, let me read that again. What are different spices that you have adapted to what, and can you taste the difference?
The traditional.
Yeah. So what I
reckon the painkillers are making my reading not very good today.
One thing I have learned, and it was a welcome change, was using powdered spices rather than fresh.
All right. Yeah.
So, for example, cumin powder, garlic powder, ginger powder, onion powder. It was much easier to use, but there was a distinct difference in the taste.
There usually is. Yeah.
Yeah. And although I assume that in the powdered versions there's probably some element of preservatives and what have you. However, the distinct taste was from between the fresh garlic and ginger and the coriander we use, or the cumin we use. Sorry, not cumin, coriander. And the powdered version, it made it much easier to cook. The marinade was the powdered version penetrated much better, and there was no chance of having any of the marinade burnt when you use a powdered version, because it binds in really quickly. Whereas the fresh has obviously its own benefits. However, with anything fresh, for example, with onions, with garlic, with ginger, there will always be a fluid. Water will come out of those the fresh ingredients, which will then have an impact on the texture.
Yeah.
So, for example, like with skewered kebabs, if you were to use a powdered version, they will bind much easier on the skewer than if you were going to use fresh.
Yeah.
So that's something I picked up when I first did the skewer video. I tried it the night before, and I just couldn't get the meat to stick on the skewer. It just kept falling off. So then someone said, "Hold a minute, what you want to do is try the powdered version." And then I tried that. Bingo, first time.
No way. Well, there you go. So you heard it here first. Use the powdered.
That's it. Yeah.
Excellent.
Even with just to add to that, even like with the onions, what we tend to do now is, if we are using onions in a marinade, we will squeeze the water out of it.
Yeah.
Which then doesn't disperse.
No, that makes sense. Yes. Yeah. So, what's been your favorite video so far on your channel to create?
My favorite it can only be my favorite is to eat, and one I enjoyed the most was the tandoori chops. And
they looked amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, they came out absolutely amazing. But the thing I actually did after video, which I couldn't put up because there was a a massive blooper in it, was I actually once they came off the tandoor, I actually had a massive pan ready with butter in it. So I gently, very gently, fried them in butter, and they just came out phenomenal.
But butter just makes everything better.
Oh man, So what you had the tenderness from the tandoor, and then you had the juice from frying it in butter, and it was just next level.
Amazing.
And that's one thing I would. One thing I'd recommend is always have a pan ready, just in case it ain't done properly, or you want some sort of enhancement. Then just quickly fry it in either its own fat or its own butter. There's another traditional recipe available is chapli kebab, which is basically beef or lamb, and that is basically fried in its own fat.
Cool.
Yeah. That was the one that you said that if you get it wrong, it's called something else, a slipper, wasn't it?
That's right. That's right.
See, the stuff that you do in your videos, you've got like an injection of humor. You've got reality, some really good cooking. It all just makes for good watching, and stuff like that sticks in your head. Like with your.
I've got the music in my head. That's the thing. Some of the music, obviously, it's something different that we would normally listen to, because obviously it's the culture of it. But it certainly makes for a interesting video.
I think it's just becoming a platform just to keep things real, keep things easy, keep things fun. Yeah. But at the same time, one of my biggest, I suppose, intention behind it is to, I suppose, build this global community, drop all these divisions, and just enjoy each other's cultures. And because we've luckily had the best of both worlds living here, and obviously have had a chance to travel quite extensively, it just, everywhere you go, everyone enjoys food.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. And if it breaks down barriers, you can complement each other. You can try new things. Like last night's video was, tandoori tacos. I mean, we would never have thought of it, but it was something that my 13-year-old son came up with.
Yeah.
It was his idea. He goes, "Dad, can we try this?" I said, "Chili, sounds like a good idea." And it's just a mix. Like I was telling Matt, my inspiration actually came from a chap in Georgia. And he doesn't speak. His videos are all in his native language, although we all be with subtitles. But he doesn't speak much, and it's all quite self-explanatory what he's doing. But again, it's thanks to him that I've got the sort of vision to, because he's sharing his culture, his techniques, their traditional foods, and it's all about mixing and matching and enjoying it.
No, that's definitely. On that note, another question from the chat. What's your take on mixing traditional with new styles? Do you think there's a danger of losing on either style? Sorry.
But like I said, I don't think there's any. You'll never lose. You're always going to win. And there is no right way. So there's no, it's what you as an individual want to incorporate into your palate. It's not about this is the only way or the highway, right? There's certain things, obviously, with traditional dishes, you're going to lose the authenticity, but there's not to say that can't be incorporated into a new style of cooking. For example, sort of back in India, Pakistan, very rarely do you see people cooking in a smoker. It's just not done, right? So it would be a new technique to try there with traditional authentic dishes. However, because in those countries time is of the essence, they haven't got 9-10 hours to wait for a brisket, and the fast food joints basically, it's fast food. Yes, there are other dishes that are non-barbecue dishes that do take time to cook, but a smoker would be an absolutely godsend if people were to try it.
Yeah.
I mean, with that stuff normally like briskets would be cooked in advance and then brought in afterwards, but kept in a cooler. That's what I always do.
The whole concept of indirect cooking, indirect heat, it hasn't arrived there yet. Although the tandoor you can call an indirect, surround heat, but it's
very hot. Yeah, it's very hot.
There is no smoke in the tandoor. If you've got smoke in the tandoor, you burnt it.
Yeah. Completely different. Completely different way of cooking.
Yeah, smoke means burn.
I'd like to actually see like a tandoor being used at one of the festivals, like that one that's coming up now, the Smoke and Fire Festival. Because I was walking around that last year, and you don't see tandoori at all. Tandoori. Yeah.
The actual device is a tandoor. What comes out of it is tandoori.
Tandoori,
yeah. So, I mean, it's surprising to me as well. I mean, the only thing is, like, it's, for example, lamb chops. They will take at least half an hour from start to finish, right? So, and you've got to literally eat them as soon as they come out. Cooling them down later, and then reheating them is not going to work. And with the tandoor, there's a distinct difference in taste between heating it up with coal or heating it up with wood.
Yeah.
So, like oak wood will give you a sweet flavor, whereas coal will give you a char grilled flavor. But if you try and reheat it afterwards, you'll lose that flavor.
Of course, absolutely.
You have to heat it on either coal or whatever, a grill or something, and then you've lost it. So the only thing I would say with the tandoor, you have to get the timing right. But it's a phenomenal piece of kit. And also you've got the difference between, like, in most restaurants where you have tandoori naans, or if they cook their meat in there, they're essentially run on gas. So you've actually lost most of your authentic tandoori taste already. You have to cook either in coal or wood. Gas ain't going to work.
No, I don't use gas.
Yeah.
That's a swear word here.
Well, on one of my videos, I actually made a point of saying that, a gas barbecue to me is like a caravan to Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it, I suppose.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's a few people that swear by them, but I just feel that you don't.
Yeah, I'd just swear at them then.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, some of your videos, I mean, I watched one of your videos the other day. It's got really positive messages in them. And you've also got some little bits in there to sort of almost nod to try and help people with bettering themselves. So I watched the one where you were in Scotland and you've got a bin bag out on purpose and you tidied up your mess into the bin bag. I watched the video and went, I wish more people put that in videos. It's like a subliminal message.
It's a good point, actually.
Message just to say, clear up after yourself.
Clear up. Yeah.
If you're going to go out and enjoy the outside, and you're going to cook outside like you did in your video, clean up after yourself.
Yeah.
Obviously, you put I said it in my head, and then you put up the picture, like the text saying, if you're going to enjoy yourself, make sure you clean up after yourself. But stuff like that,
it's unbelievable. Yeah. Again, that it's common sense, and unfortunately, it applies more to I suppose back home, really, because there it's just unheard of to tidy up after yourselves. And being out and about in Scotland in the Highlands, what really struck me was the absolute impeccable cleanliness.
Yeah.
And for anyone to ruin that, you know, would be a disaster, because, and it's just selfishness. And not only is it something sort of, you know, difficult to look at, but my other issue is when I see people having barbecues and just chuck the coal out. You know, there's wildlife around. There's potential, you know, fires can take place. And generally, you want to leave it, like, you know, you want to leave the world a better place after you've left.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
And I think with the whole lockdown, it sort of gave me the time to think and, I suppose, reflect on some of the mistakes, if we can call them, that we've made, or things we've overlooked in the past. And it just gave me a chance to reflect on those things and try and bring up those subtle messages without coming across as, you know, someone who's self-righteous. Just some points and tips that I think I should use on myself first, before I apply anywhere else. Would just sort of, I think, make the world a better place. Because if we haven't learned anything from the lockdown, then it's going to happen again.
Yeah. Pickles wants to know, what's your favourite woods that you use?
Oak.
Yeah.
Dried oak.
Yeah. I would have said oak as well. Yeah.
Especially in tandoor, because it's an acquired taste. Not everyone likes it, because the tandoor has its own flavor from the clay. So that gives an element of sweetness, and then the oak just enhances it. For example, my wife and kids don't like oak. They prefer everything cooked on coal. Because they want the whole, because, you know, again, everyone's palate's used to the barbecue. The tandoor takes some time to get used to, but now they're coming around.
Absolutely.
For example, and again, it depends what you're making. I would prefer, like, fish. Definitely, you want to go with wood. However, beef, I would stick with coal. Lamb, depending on what you're making, you know, if you're making, let's say, lamb chops, then I would stick with. You can always do a mixture as well, but I would lean towards coal. But with kebabs, seek kebabs, or shish kebabs, you want to stick with wood.
So, any particular charcoal you use, or anything?
Anything I get hold of at the moment. It's I'm not there yet in terms of being able to tell a difference. Although I find it's easier to maintain the heat with briquettes, but the intensity of heat is. I get better with charcoal logs.
Yeah. I can say briquettes could be a bit too hot or something.
Yeah, but I think because it's easy to regulate in terms of you can take them out easily.
Oh yeah,
just little square blocks. Yeah, it cools things down. Whereas with the huge blocks, you know, because they're such irregular sizes, it's difficult to then pick which piece is generating the most heat. Yeah. So it's harder to regulate.
Yeah. So all the barbecues, some of the barbecues I see you're using, they're not like a Weber or nothing like that. They're just quite small.
They're just quite small, and it's nothing special. One of them basically is my biggest barbecue. I've got the round dish, which, you know, I've had for about 15 years, and then the large chrome stainless steel one basically is a spit roast.
Yeah.
So I just and because you can manipulate the size quite easily, and it's got a grill on it, and I've cooked sort of, you know, predominantly I've just done spit roasts on it. It's been easier to then just change into a normal barbecue.
Yeah. So you ain't got any of your barbecues, have they got lids, apart from obviously the tandoor? But, you know,
yes, one of them has a lid. Yeah. So the large sort of round, I don't know what you call it, but round black one, that's got a lid on it. But again, because we don't really smoke anything.
Yeah.
We haven't
cook it hot and fast.
We just cook it fast, and off it goes. It doesn't last long enough to cover it.
Yeah.
I mean, are you looking to sort of go down that route of smoking as well, or?
I'd like to, because it's not something that I've seen it done, and I've only actually ever had fish done in a smoker, and a mate of mine did a massive red snapper, and that came out gorgeous. Yeah. And I tried doing it on a barbecue, and I just killed it.
Yeah.
You know, it just absolutely just did not get the moisture, didn't get the taste. It was awful.
See, fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, fish I love doing on a flipping. I don't know if you've heard of a flipping grate. Have you come across a flipping grate?
No.
Yeah.
They're it stands over the barbecue. It's the same. It's the same like a basket that you can get from B&Q that you put your fish in. But it's quite big. You can get a pork belly in there or anything, and it just literally sits over the barbecue or over a fire. And there's a pole at the back, so you can have whatever height you want.
Would that be covered or not?
No, not covered. No, so your temperature obviously would be how high or low it is to the barbecue. But they're very good.
I haven't mastered fish yet. In terms of barbecue, put salmon in the tandoor a few weeks ago. That came out really nice.
Yeah,
I was pleasantly surprised with that. Tried some sardines in it as well, because only if you in the Mediterranean on beaches you see those barbecue stalls where they're just doing sardines, or anchovies, and they came out beautiful. I tried it, and I dried the hell out of them. So fish is something that I get a lot of requests for, but I'm just going to keep trying.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Just trying to find you.
Yeah. You recently went to Scotland, didn't you? Well, I mentioned that already, and the weather didn't put you off. As I see in your video, you're battling the wind and the rain.
Actually, it was actually. I mean, although it maybe looked a lot damper than it wasn't actually. It was. We actually had spent 2 hours driving through the rain, waiting for a break in the clouds, and that's the best we got. Yeah. And prior to that, it was chucking it down. So that was as dry as it got, and it was probably one of my most pleasurable experiences. And after being a little bit damp and cold, when those kebabs came out, my God, did we enjoy them?
I bet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, you must have found yourself you did find yourself a really beautiful spot to cook.
It was amazing, absolutely amazing. I mean, and that's one thing I liked about Scotland was that, especially in the Highlands, there is so much space, and everywhere you look,
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful,
yeah.
And also, there's something in the air that makes you hungry.
Oh, they're going to burst into song then.
There's something in the air that makes you hungry. There's something in the fresh water that's gets your appetite going. And I wouldn't want to go out there and just have sandwiches. You have to have something that you enjoy. And there's so many spots you can pull over, and there's no restriction. I don't know what it's like around in Lake District or further south. But up the Highlands, there's absolutely no restrictions anywhere. You can just do your barbecues, enjoy outdoor cooking, and obviously, like I said, most importantly, clean up afterwards.
That's right. I go to North Wales quite a bit. Take me van, the dogs, me barbecues, and either rain like the same sort of thing as you did, but rain lakes and stuff. But that's same sort of area looking, but it's just a bit closer. I ain't got to go all the way to Scotland.
Yeah. And again, I suppose what also stimulates you up in either Wales or depending what your fancy is. But you see so much cattle everywhere. You see lambs everywhere. You see cows everywhere. Thinking, "Give me that, mate. You know what? I'm hungry. I'll have some of that."
Don't nick one of theirs.
Been tempted.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The trip to Scotland, was it just like a family getaway, or was it was there other sort of reasons for it? Was it just?
No, it was just basically. I mean, I told Matt earlier on. I had a major heart surgery back in February this year. I had a quadruple heart bypass, So we've been locked indoors, and then lockdown came after that. So basically, this was our first, I suppose, freedom. That's what I was looking for, and I got it in Scotland.
Yeah, well done. Yeah,
absolutely. Enjoy it up there, and enjoy it.
Beautiful country.
Yeah. So, favorite things to cook, or favorite recipe?
My favorite recipe, I think, is probably the most complicated. Is like I said before, the chapli kebab.
Okay.
Because that is it's quite involved. It's not for the faint-hearted, purely because it's made in its own fat, and it's got to be eaten straight away. Otherwise, once the meat starts contracting and the fat goes back to sort of marble, you don't enjoy it, and it's ultimately filling. And more importantly, it is so much fun to make.
That's the one that the slipper one, isn't it?
The slipper one, that's the one. Yeah. Right. It's so much fun to make. It's like, essentially, it's just a burger, but it has so many ingredients in it, and the quantities have to be spot on to get the right taste. Right. And then the thickness of your suppose patty has to be perfect. Otherwise, you can only have a couple. Whereas, in all honesty, for the average person who enjoys barbecues and kebabs, 6 or 7 of those you can smash out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even with bone marrow melted on top of it?
Absolutely. Even more so.
No way. That's excellent. I mean, they look spectacular. I mean, if you haven't watched the video yet, and he said, head on over there and have a look. It's certainly impressive.
I mean, that's something that I would recommend at festivals. Those sort of things, you would really enjoy making them, and you would actually get instant recognition from your customers.
Kebabs are good anytime.
It sort of goes back to what Cider said earlier. I mean, it'd be good to see more than just your smoked chicken, ribs, and
that's right,
beef at a barbecue competition. Some more of the outside world foods. Cooked over flame.
That's right. I mean, everybody's promoting sort of American style of cooking and stuff, but to see something like, I mean, everybody that I know does outside cooking loves tandoori, but I've never seen it at a barbecue.
I mean, it's as such. It's not a portable device.
That's
probably because, I mean, the one I've got is near enough 60 to 70 kilos.
Yeah.
So it's not something you can just lift and shift in back of your van.
Put wheels on it.
Put wheels on it. Yeah. Then shifting it around in a festival, you need a proper base for it.
Yeah.
And also, keeping it warm. Typically, a tandoor will last you on your initial heat. You're looking at a couple of hours, and then it will start to sort of lose its heat. So to top it up, you literally got, if you're halfway through cooking something, you can't just pull it out and put wood in again, because then what you don't want to do in a tandoor is cook on flames.
Yeah.
You've always got to cook on embers. So getting that regulation right with the heat and the flames and no smoke, like I said, it's tricky to do at a festival, sort of live.
Yeah. What about, can you, like we use a chimney star, couldn't you have some charcoal going in a chimney starter all nice and hot and then just dump it in? The same sort of thing? Because
you're not cooking, you're not dependent on the heat directly from the coal or the wood. You're dependent on heat from the actual walls of the tandoor. So they will take time to pick up that heat.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a ceramic cooker then, in a way. It's, like a.
And it also depends what country the clay is from.
All right.
So, for example, I asked this chap Victor from Tandoori Adventures, who sort of supplied the tandoor. why can't these be made here? We've got clay in this country. And he said, you can't. He goes, we've tried it and it just crumbles.
Yeah.
The clay that's used, well, these are actually made in Kazakhstan, and then they're shipped to Ukraine, and then they're distributed from Poland.
Wow.
So it's quite a long sort of supply chain to get them here, which is why, although it's just clay, these take around 3 months to make.
Wow.
In terms of heating it and then cooling it down and heating it again. And then even on your first couple of uses, you've got to condition it before you can put anything in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because initially, on your first heat, it's going to crack, and you want it to crack. You want the outside to crack, because as soon as it cracks, it sort of seals the inside, lets air in, then seals it. Because you've got two layers of clay. You've got the internal walls, then you've got like a sort of a vacuum in between. Then you've got the external clay. So what happens is when you first heat it, the outside cracks, lets air in, seals the inside, and then as soon as it cools down, it sort of contracts again. So the expansion and it's coming back is basically what is trapping the heat within the inner walls.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's an exact science, but there is an element of preparation you've got to do, which I suppose doing it at a festival, you have to have the tandoor conditioned before you take it out. Right. So you wouldn't be selling tandoors at a festival or promoting them there, because you wouldn't want to condition them first.
I guess the only way you'd be able to do that is if you were doing festivals and you had like a truck with a tandoor built into
them.
A couple of tandoors built into it that you can just cook and
or on a trailer or something.
Yeah, and the other sort of benefit with tandoor is it's any weather, even if it's chucking it down with rain, like it did last night. It chucked it down. As soon as we finished, we had the most massive thunderbolt I've ever heard, and then it chucked it down. We carried on. Tandoor doesn't, you can cook in any weather.
Yeah.
People cook them in, in some of the East European countries. They make in the winter. That's their basically. They'll make their soups and barbecue, or soups and ribs, and all their sort of cooking is outside. So it's an any weather device.
It's just us not any good with the weather. That's the trouble. It might be a good device, but no one wants to go out when it's raining.
Yeah, my motivation comes from the end result. So even if it's freezing cold or raining, and I'm hungry, I will cook it.
Yeah, I'm the same. So,
I'm gonna share the page that you bought you've got yours from. And this guy, is this the guy Victor you were talking about earlier?
That's no, unless he's aged in the last 3 months.
It was a young guy, wasn't it? It was a young guy that came to your place.
So yeah. Unless he's aged in the last 3 months after the video.
Okay, so not him then.
That's him.
But yeah, I mean,
that's his site. A lovely guy. He's he travels nationwide to deliver them, and he will spend as long as you need on to condition the tandoor, and he will tell you exactly what accessories are needed as well. And they're not, like I said, they're not economically prohibitive. I was explaining to Matt earlier on. A tandoor is probably 5 trips to a restaurant.
Yeah.
Good.
They're not sort of as expensive as the Kamado Joes, are they?
No.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, and some of those tandoors he's got on that site, they're spectacular. I mean, design work they've got on some of them, it's just like I wouldn't want to cook on it. It just looks too nice.
They do, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, like, I'll bring it back up again. I mean, the one in the bottom right-hand corner.
That's incredible, isn't it?
It just looks incredible.
And how much is that? Is there a price on that?
I mean, I think I would thought that the largest one there, I wouldn't see it to be, shy of £1,000.
Yeah.
The one I've got, which is the sort of medium-sized one, medium to large, it cost me, with all the accessories, it was only about 540 quid.
Wow,
that's delivered.
That's brilliant.
Okay, isn't it? I mean, well, and as you've explained already, that these things are really versatile bits of kit.
Yeah. If I said to my missus I'm going to get one, she'll kill me.
Yeah, but
once she's tasted what comes out of it, she might think differently. But you've got to get there first.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it's actually quite a pretty ornament in the garden.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's not,
if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, even if you buy it, and it's very easy to sort of put in the corner, and it looks nice to look at. It's not.
Just tell your missus it's a flower vase.
Yeah, just stick a tree in it,
and then just try and cook something in it for her.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Couple more questions. What are some tips, things that you've learned over the years as you've been cooking? Something, what would you pass on to people?
My sort of, I suppose, what not what I'd pass on, but actually what actually frustrates me is when I see people cooking on flames. You can't. I can't cook on flames. No. To my mind, you have to cook on embers, and that's probably something that's going to go on my gravestone. Don't cook on flames, because whenever I've done it, I've burnt it. But you just can't regulate. You don't. It's just the heat is too intense. You're not cooking. You're burning. And I just find either like with a smoker, I haven't got the experience, so I couldn't say. But it sounds like it's indirect heat, and it's not going to burn unless you leave it in there for like over 24 hours. Whereas when I see people cooking on flames, I know they're going to burn it. It's got to be embers. Coal has to be white. And the other thing that I try and promote in the videos is not to use accelerants when you're firing up your coal.
Yeah, we've all said that. I think it's yeah. I mean, it depends on the type of cooking as well. I mean, where you're saying not cooking on flames, if you're using, say, like an asado or something like that, that is actually fire, but they're moving the fire away from. So if you've got like the cross over the fire, then you're moving how far away the meat is from the fire.
Yeah, so you're not on the flames directly, are you? You're obviously using the heat. You got the heat out of it, but you haven't got the flames.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
It's nice, because I think I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but a novice, when you talk to a novice and you explain flame grilled, they think it's on a flame.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah.
All right, and when you're trying to explain to mate, no, you can't cook on a flame. You're going to burn it, right? Yeah. But then why do they call it flame grilled? I said, I don't know why they call it flame grilled, but don't cook on a flame.
It just sounds good.
It's when the flat fat drips onto your white embers, and you get that flame up.
That's that's what I call a boost rather than cook. You're going to get, and that's basically fine. That will make it crispy. But that's at the end. So what I would tend to do is, like, for example, with seekh kebabs, right at the end, I will spray olive oil on it to give that final bind. So when you take it off, it's not going to break. Just to ensure that the fat actually just seals the meat. When it comes off, it drops straight into your plate. Off you go. It's not going to break. But to cook it on the flame, you're just burning it.
I mean, I do. I've got a Weber kettle, and with all like the crazy accessories, and you sear plate in there. That's the only time. I mean, if I cook a steak, I'll do it indirectly, and then for the final sort of
sear it.
Yeah, just sear it on the searing plate. So occasionally you'll get the flames from that, but it'll just be.
That's the final blast. End off. Yeah.
You're not going to leave it there and try to cook it in the fire.
Yeah, for example, you don't drive your car with flames coming out the back, do you?
That's right.
It doesn't, right?
I wouldn't actively go out and get like one of those instant light bags, light it, and start cooking.
Yeah, but the amount of people who do that,
yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right? Not only are you ruining
That's right.
your meat with the flavor of the accelerant, petrol, or whatever spirits they put in there, but you're just cooking on solid heat, solid flames that you can't regulate. And if you can't regulate, you can't cook.
Exactly.
End of.
Yeah, those instant ones, I wish they ban them. I think all they do is set forests alike, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all got to start somewhere. I started with instant light barbecues, but
but that was last week.
Yeah. Talking back when I was at school, for God's sake, cooking burgers for your mates down the field, and then
we've all done it.
Exactly. But you grow up and you learn that really that's just sort of
well, like I told you, my first experience was the first critical comment I got was, you burnt it, and that was from my dad, because I cooked them I cooked chops on flames, and I ruined them. I still remember them. I can still taste them sometimes. I had flashbacks.
Oh dear.
I think Dutchy in the chat here, he's got a tandoor as well.
Yeah.
Looking at.
He's asked if you've ever cooked a whole chicken in your tandoor before.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what I did with that is before dropping the chicken in, I roasted black and Cajun seasoning in butter, and I just poured it over it, dropped it in, and a whole chicken came out. I think it was shy of 40 minutes, and it was probably the best chicken I've ever had. So, and I think there's a couple of videos on the tandoori chicken as well.
Yeah.
So I did a comparison. I did 3 chickens on a rotisserie, and I dropped this one chicken using roasted seasoning and butter, and that came out just amazing. My missus said, "It ain't gonna work." I said, "Look, I got this." And when it came out, she was shocked.
Yeah.
Probably the only time I've actually impressed her.
That takes to do it, impressing a woman.
But yeah, so your whole chicken, absolutely. It's and again with the tandoor, there's so many different ways of hanging it in the tandoor. You can drop it on a shelf. You can obviously use skewers, or you can just get a piece of chicken wire, put it through the chicken, hang it off a skewer, job done. It's not particularly technical.
It's I suppose it's the same sort of thing as a barrel cooker, but the barrel cooker hasn't got the heat from the sides, only from the bottom.
That's it, because what you're taking in, what you're benefiting from a tandoor is surround heat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You just haven't got heat coming from the top.
Yeah.
But as we all know, heat rises and it collects at the top. And with the tandoor, you have obviously you take the whole lid off, but then you have an extraction hole as well, and that you can sort of use to regulate your heat inside. Like the first time I put I think a leg of lamb in, within about 10 minutes it was smoke coming out, and smoke coming out with tandoor, unless it's just flavored smoke, if it's like intense smoke, you're burning it.
Yeah.
So, and that was because it was just too hot. So then you can just remove some of the embers and then regulate your heat.
Yeah. Definitely a learning curve, like anything, I suppose.
Yeah, and it actually didn't take long. It just the first time we heated it up, it was scary because it was cracking, and the walls inside were black, and you've got to wait till they get white. White basically means red hot. Tandoor.
Yeah.
Once the walls are white inside, then you're ready to go. But then make sure that there's no flames.
Yeah. So
only proper embers.
So you can cook, like, I don't know how right this is. I've seen some sort of videos where they're cooking bread on the inside, just placing the bread on the inside. Why don't it drop off?
bread to the inside of it.
Yeah.
Is it just the heat that sticks it?
The heat just makes it stick. It's the same concept with kebabs on a skewer. It's the heat that makes it stick. For example, if you go and put your hand on a hot plate, it's going to stick straight away.
Yeah, I've done that on a
same
poker.
concept. Yeah, not that I've done it, but it's the same concept. It's the same concept. The heat is what makes it stick. Whereas on the tandoor, it's the intensity of the heat on the not just the intensity, but the actual curve also depends on whether you can or can't cook naan bread.
Yeah.
If it's really concave, then it's going to be harder. Like I've tried it in mine, and every time I've tried it, they've crashed and burnt.
Yeah.
Because of the my technique, or it's because there's too much of a curve, it doesn't stick. If the walls are, let's say, equally round and the curves are identical all around, then it's easier to cook. But yeah, but to overcome that, you don't have to stick them on the wall. Like I said, the accessories that Victor provides, you can actually you can make a cake in there. So I've got a 4-tier shelf that I can actually put anything I want on, bread, cakes, whatever, right? And you just drop your whatever you want on these shelves, drop it in. 20 minutes later, take it out, job done. So you don't have to cook them on the side of the walls. Because I went and bought the cushion and the skewer to take the naan bread out with, and I just crashed and burned.
Yeah, I've often watched them and thought there's got to be some skill to that.
Well, yeah, there's definitely a skill, but it's like, my point is that if people in, let's say, third world countries can do it, then it can't be rocket science.
No,
but it takes guts also to put your hand down a hot furnace.
Yeah,
definitely.
Exactly.
Not sure I'd want to be going in glowing white sort of bit of clay and sticking it on there.
Yeah, because it's a tandoor can, I think, get up to about between 550 to 600 F.
You won't want to paint it, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's some high temp paint.
So, last question from the chat before we wrap up and we'll open the pub club. Favorite side dishes?
Since last night, it's got to be my son's avocado sauce he made. The guacamole, it was phenomenal. Phenomenal. There is another side that I enjoy, and that's we make a aubergine and yogurt paste.
Okay.
That we'll be featuring in one of our next videos. That is phenomenal. That with any sort of meat, every barbecue that we do, that's always there. And whenever we do host friends and relatives, that's the first thing they ask for. Are you making your aubergine special? So it's an aubergine. What spices and herbs my missus uses, I don't know, but it's something that we will be displaying in one of our next videos.
Yeah, I look forward to it. So, would you consider doing any food festivals or anything like that to display this, or what you do?
Yeah, it'd be. I more to the point, I'd like to go and learn from others as much as I'd enjoy being there. But yeah, I'd definitely be up for it.
Yeah, it might be something interesting. There's quite a few people that, well, we all know now, but who are involved in the Smoke and Fire Festival. Maybe I'll put your name forward and see if they're interested, and they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, I'd be honoured to. It'd be good fun. Depending on the weather, obviously.
Yeah.
But like I said, with a tandoor, the weather doesn't dictate what you can and can't do. Barbecues, unfortunately, you're more constrained.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Right. So I think that pretty much does us for for the formalities of this evening. Carry on.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make a point. Because of my heart condition, my medication is now kicking in, so I haven't really got much time left to sort of continue. So I'll be excusing myself soon.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, it's good. Like I said earlier on, it's completely up to you. If you want to stay for 5 minutes, you can. If you want to pop off now, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'll probably take the opportunity now to pop off, purely because in about 10 minutes I'm going to be sort of struggling to talk, and I don't really want to be in a position where I'm uncomfortable.
Okay, that's not a problem.
All right, but it was really nice meeting you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And I hope to bump into you soon. I'm looking forward to trying some of that.
Definitely, mate.
Be brilliant. Okay,
right, thank you very much. Cheers.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Good night.
All right.
Just remind the people of your social feeds again, just in case they've missed it.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
So, do you want to just remind the people of your social media feeds? And
it's just #BabaQ Khan.
There you go.
Okay, that's it.
Hit him up on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Check out all there.
Yeah, I'm already subscribed anyway, so you'll find me on there.
Thank you very much. God bless and stay safe, guys.
Yeah. Okay then. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you for your time.
Bye.
Yeah.
Very interesting, Black.
Yeah, that was really good. I enjoyed that thoroughly. I mean, let's just wrap up and finish and then we'll open the pub club and have a chat. Again, thank you guys for tuning into the BabaQ Talk Show. Make sure you go check out the Facebook group on Facebook. That's at BabaQ Talk Show. And then we've also got the BabaQ Talk Show group, which we're trying to build a little bit more. Share your recipes, share your pictures, get on there, and let's build a community. What else have we got? Don't forget we're running a little promotion with the Rusty Barbecue Company. They are offering 10% for our viewers. So if you go onto his website and of his sauces and rubs, if you use the code BabaQ Talks 10 on his checkout, you'll get 10% off your order. Check out my Instagram, Smoking Cues. I'm on Facebook as well. And check out Ryan's Instagram, Ryan_Gs_barbecue.stuff. Instagram and his YouTube, his YouTube is Ryan G's Barbecue and Stuff. So that wraps up the live podcast for today. For the guys that are here live with us today, we'll open up the pub club shortly. We'll have about a 3-minute intermission now where we'll go and top up our drinks and stuff. We'll be back, open up the pub club, get the people in, and let's have a chat. See you in a minute, guys.
All right. See you later.